Hello friends, welcome to C# Intermediate to Advanced tutorial. Now you are watching part 4 of the sub-series C# Web Browser Control. In this video, we are going to look at the Web Browser Control events, navigating, navigated, progress changed, and document completed. So we will learn about all these 4 events and we will handle these events in our web browser control. So these are all the slides from our previous parts. After learning the basics, we talked about the example. Then we learned the important methods: navigate, go back, go forward, stop, as well as refresh. So in our example, we used navigate, stop, and refresh method, and we doesn't use go back and go forward. And if you need, you can add 2 more buttons in the status bar control, and you can make a call to these 2 methods. So it's just straightforward. You have to handle the click event and make a call like a browser.goback and browser.goforward in the relevant button click events. Then we talked about the registry entry and the emulation types. So depending on whatever browser available in our system, you can set a corresponding emulation type so that you can avoid web browser using the old version of IE6. So IE6 definitely throws a lot of JavaScript related errors, and web page won't display the way you expect. Alright, now we will continue with the web browser control events. Web browser control fires navigating event with the parameter web browser navigating event talks. So this navigating event fires when web browser is visiting a particular page in the web server and loading the content. So that will be the continuous process, right? So during those continuous process, it will fire the navigating event so that you can know that web browser is navigating to a particular URL to fetch the content for rendering purpose. When certain condition not met, that means inside the navigating event handler, you can cancel browsing by setting the cancel property to true. So cancel property means you can make use of a web browser navigating event talks dot cancel equal to true. So that way you can stop web browser communicating to a specific URL. So there will be a master URL, and that master URL will relate to multiple other URLs so that the page load will get completed. The URL property of the web browser navigating event args tells which page it is fetching. It is in the sense here the web browser control. So first thing is you are handling the navigating event, and in the navigating event handler we are making use of web browser navigating event args, and we are studying the property of this web browser navigating event args. Using the cancel property, you can cancel the navigation, and using the URL property you can get what URL currently the web browser is navigating, and using the frame property one can tell in which location of the loaded page the navigation is reading the content and replacing it. So when a page load is happening, it may have a multiple location, right? So in which named frame the web browser is loading the content by visiting a specific URL. So completely loading a URL may end up reaching the other URLs too. So there will be multiple navigating event that gets raised before document load completes. So let's state that the URL that you typed in the address bar is, for example, abb.com. So that's the initial page. Let's say it goes to the index page. That's the default on the web server. And then so if you see here, the page which user typed in the address bar is abb.com. But to load the HTML document supplied by this initial page location is the requested document, which comes from abb.com itself. Then there is a add widget or some frame that displays the ad, and it's a Bing ad. Then there is some list of Facebook followers portraits, photos or their face. These are all the people following this site. Let's say this is the article site. And then there is some news reel that reads news from xyz.com and displays that in a separate frame. And here, let's assume that there are 4 frames, F1, F2, as well as F3, and the site content. So even though user is visiting the site abb.com, the complete loading of this document, entire document, requires visiting other 3 sites as well. So user typed abb.com, but loading this page will get completed once the content are downloaded from Bing ads, Facebook followers, and newsreel from xyz.com. That means here the web browser control will visit abb.com, and it will visit a Bing website, it will visit Facebook website, and it will visit the xyz.com to read the latest news feed. And when it navigates these 3 websites, it downloads the content and places somewhere in the loaded document, HTML document. We call this as frame. So that's why here we are saying, recall, completely loading a URL may end up reaching the other URLs too. So these are all the other URLs, Bing, Facebook, and newsreel. So there will be multiple navigating event. So here, when we talk about navigating, here it is the web browser control is navigating abb.com, then it is navigating Bing, and after some point in time it is navigating Facebook followers, then it is navigating xyz.com to read newsreel, right? So URL property tells which page it is navigating, then in which frame it is reading the content and placing it or rendering it. So those stuff you can retrieve from web browser navigating event docs. And once all the content or all the pages are navigated and all the contents are retrieved and placed in the web browser, then the web browser will issue, when there is no other content to load, that time web browser will issue that document is completed by providing a document completed event that we will see later. Here if you see, navigated event occurs when web browser navigated the specific URL and moved to the next one. So here if you see, when we are requesting to load the content from abb.com, here we will be getting one navigating event, then here one navigating event, here one navigating, and here one navigating event, and it will be in pair. So after it read all the contents from Bing, we will be getting navigated So in this example, if you see, we will be getting 4 navigating event and 4 navigated event. So we would say that navigating and navigated is completed when the specific part is completely loaded. So that will come in a pair, navigating and navigated. So we used 2 already, 3. So it will come in a pair, 1 and 3. Navigating, navigated. Similarly, navigating, navigated for Facebook. So once you see navigated, that means the content on this specific frame is completely loaded. Likewise, when all the content in the web page or web parts are loaded, including the main content abb.com, then web browser will issue DocumentCompleted event. So if you see navigating event, that's 1, navigated, and this will be in a pair or in a chain based on how many web parts are available in the requested content page or initial page or URL of the URL that is given in the address bar of the web browser, or the initial URL given to the navigating, the navigate method. Navigate method we saw in the previous video, right? For the navigate method, we will specify the web location URL that we simply read from the text box of the toolstrip control. Alright. So when navigating and navigated is happening, let's say, for example, the web browser control is loading the content for Facebook. So it already raised the navigating event, and in between, if you see, it will raise multiple progress changed event. This is the progress changed event. So at present, web browser is navigating the Facebook, and it fires multiple events to tell the progress is changed. That means it will read the content, right, in terms of bytes, or it streams data from Facebook server and loads that in this frame. So using the progress changed, you can track how many bytes get transferred from this server to your web browser control, which is displaying the HTML document, and that document contains a specific portion frame, and how many bytes downloaded from the server to this specific location. And since there are multiple events, you can show the progress in the application. Wherever you want, you can place a progress bar and you can show the change in the progress or how many bytes downloaded. Based on that, you can increase the progress status. So likewise, there will be multiple events. So if you see 1, 2, 3, navigated, likewise it will occur multiple time. In our case, there are 4 web parts, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 web parts. It will occur for 4 times. Finally, when all the contents are loaded, it fires the DocumentCompleted event. And in between, if you see, we get a progress changed event that will get fired multiple times between 1 and 3. Between 1 and 3 in the sense navigating and navigated. Right? So that's all the important event that you need to know. Now we will go to the code change. So here, if you see, browser is our web browser component, and we are handling the navigating event. Here, first we are setting the progress bar visible to true. Why? Because when navigating is happening, it will start downloading the content from the web server and places the downloaded content somewhere in the web page. So here we are saying in the status information text, first we made the progress bars status pb. That means the progress bar which is placed in the status. That's how we named the control variable. And status information is the label in the status bar. So for the status information text property, we are stating navigating e is web browser navigating event docs URL, and we are converting that to string. So navigating specific URL for e.target frame. So which URL the web browser is currently navigating, and where it is placing the downloaded bytes of information. So both we are placing it in the status text. Then in the navigated, we are just placing the status information text navigated. So you will be seeing navigating for a long period of time in the status bar navigated. There will be a very less chance to see this string. Anyhow, when we are handling this, we just kept this string in the status information. Next, we have document completed event. When document is completed, there is no need to show this status bar, I mean the progress bar in the status strip. So we are hiding that. After that, we are saying web page loaded. So once document is completed, progress bar will go off. We won't show any progress change, and instead you will be seeing a web page loaded. That means the content is ready and it is completely rendered, I mean completely loaded from the web server and rendered in the document. Web server in the sense there may be multiple web servers. So that's why we will be getting pairs of navigating and navigated. Finally, we are handling the progress changed on the web browser. Remember, this progress changed will get fired and handled multiple times between navigating and navigated events. 1, 2. Between this 1 and 2, if we call this as 4, there will be multiple event, right? So here if you see, at present our web browser is loading a content from say Bing ads. If you visualize our previous slide, from Bing ads it is loading the content. So navigating event occurred, that's one here, and it's keep on downloading the content from Bing ads, transferring the bytes, and during the time, if you see, we will be getting this progress changed multiple times. So here we set maximum progress to our status bar, I mean the progress bar which is in the status bar, and we update the current progress. So maximum, and this is value 2 property we are using. Maximum means, let's say downloading the Bing ad requires 1000 bits of information. So that we set, that means 1000 bit means when 1000 bits are loaded, the progress bar get filled because of this maximum property. And we state the current progress. So let's state here we will be getting 200 bits loaded, 400 bits loaded, 700 bits loaded. That means during the each event we will be incrementing the progress bar, right? Alright, now it's demo time. We will go to the demo and implement these 4 events. We will go to our web browser control, right click, properties, events, progress changed. So the code was already explained in the PowerPoint slide, and if you see, this is the progress web browser progress changed event talks. First we set maximum value to our progress bar, then we state the current progress. Progress bar is here, this is the progress bar. Next, we will handle the second event for our web browser control. So navigating, you can read the content here, occurs before web browser navigation occurs. So here we state which page it is navigating and where it is loading the content in the web browser or in the downloaded web content. So going to web browser again and handling the navigated. There are multiple events, you can look into this. Here we are handling the most frequently used. And if you see find downloaded, there are multiple events available with the web browser control. Here we are choosing navigated at present, occurs after web browser navigation occurs. That means the content is completely downloaded from a specific URL to a specific frame or web part, and the web browser control started navigating a different website URL. So remember, Bing, loading the Bing ad is completed. Now it is navigating to Facebook to load all the portrayed image of the person. So when such a transition occurs, during that time the navigated event occurs. That means a specific URL is navigated or content is completely read and placed in the web browser. A web browser in the sense the web page that is rendered by the web browser. Alright, navigated. Next we will go for document completed. Occurs when the document hosted in the web browser control is fully loaded. Fully loaded is done by visiting multiple sites, and that multiple site visit is tied to navigating and navigated. When this pair completes, one site navigation is completed. Likewise, there will be many navigation, and when all navigations are completed, the web page is considered as fully loaded and the event get raised, document completed. There we just update our status information in the sense, here is the label, right, status label. Here we will implement, we will update the status stating web page loaded, and at the same time we set the visibility of the progress bar to false. That means we are hiding it, or because there is no progress to show since web page load was completed. Let's save all this. Now it's time to test this. Remember, in the previous video we set the browser emulation to the exe. That means we will be running the exe from this location. So here I am launching the web browser exe. Let's browse to some website, Dell.com, and I'm clicking go here, and if you see, it is showing loading. So the page is loaded. We can try some other website also, www.com, and we'll click go here. And if you see, it happens multiple times. It is loading content from different location. So as you see, there are more widgets here, so we don't know how many sites it visited. Since we are updating this information in the status bar, we are not able to see what are all the site it visited. So that's all here in this video. Thank you for watching. Bye.